Hey there, this is going to be a video about installing Ubuntu. And as you can see, I've already gone to the Ubuntu website, www.ubuntu.com. And now what I'm going to do, okay, see right over here where it says download Ubuntu. All right, so we're just going to choose download Ubuntu Desktop. And this is the latest version for Intel or AMD 64, which is what I'm going to be using. Yeah, I'll accept those cookies. Okay, so here's the download. Now, I'm not going to click on the download because it'll take a few minutes, but this is how you get it. Okay, so first things first, download the Ubuntu file, and it's going to be a .iso. Okay, now, once you've got that done, then you're going to go and start Oracle VirtualBox. So I'm just going to double click on that. Okay, Oracle VirtualBox. All right, so we've got a bunch of virtual machines here, not a problem. We're just going to add a new one. So click on that. Okay, this is going to be, I don't think I've used that before. Okay, so Ubuntu Desktop is going to be the name. The folder it's going to go in is going to be the one with all my virtual VMs. ISO image, I'm going to have to pick an ISO image. So I'm going to click on Other, and then I'm going to go down to where my ISOs are. And I can't remember where I put my ISOs. Okay, here they are. And I don't have any ISOs in that directory. Okay, so what I'm going to do, where did I put them? Oh, here it goes. Okay, Ubuntu Desktop 64. Okay, so I'm going to open that up. All right, type is Linux. All right, I'm not going to skip unattended installation. No, I am going to skip unattended installation because I want to key this stuff in myself. And I also, unattended installation is where you're doing this for like a whole bunch of machines at once, and you've already programmed like a username and password that you want to use for all of them. But that's not us. Okay, so I'm going to give this thing about 8 gigabytes of memory to work with, and I'm going to give it 8 CPUs. The more the merrier here, but I wouldn't go past the green line. So depending on your processor, um, you might just use like 4. You definitely don't want to use less than 2. Okay, and then the hard drive space, I'm just going to take the default hard drive location, and I'm going to give it a little more space. Now, the space that you're giving here is not, it's not going to actually take up this much space on your hard drive. Because we don't have this checked. If you click on pre-allocate full size, then it'll go ahead and take up all this space on your hard drive. Otherwise, it's dynamic and it just uses space as it needs to up to this cap that you've given it. So you're basically putting a size limit on how big that hard drive can ever get. Okay, so now I think I'm ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and start my machine. And let's see how it goes. Okay, it gives me some different choices here. I want to install Ubuntu, so I'm going to highlight that and then hit return, which you also know is the enter key. Excuse me, I use return and enter interchangeably. And I think part of that is because I learned how to type on a manual keyboard. Okay, so Ubuntu is starting. And it's complaining about my graphics, but I don't care. Okay, I'm going to pause this until something interesting happens. Eventually, This might take a few minutes depending on your hardware. If Ubuntu does hang up during the installation process, then what you can do is click on File and shut down the machine. Don't save the machine state, and then restart it and try it again. Sometimes that helps. All right, I'm going to pause this again. And after the spinning wheel spins for a minute, we get to choose our language. English keyboard. Okay, I'm gonna choose use wired connection, even though I technically have a Wi-Fi device on this machine. But remember, this is just a virtual machine. Ooh, an update is available. Okay, close installer and relaunch it. Okay, over here in the lower right-hand corner, see where it says install Ubuntu? We're going to click on that, and we're going to go through that stuff again. And okay, we don't have an auto install YAML file, so we're just going to have to do interactive installation. And I'm going to take the defaults because that's all I need. And I don't really need additional media formats because I'm not planning on listening to any videos or anything on this. And if I do, I can always download and install stuff later. Okay, erase disk and install Ubuntu. Okay, now I'm going to create an account. I always use CFCC. It's easy to remember. Require my password to log in. You can uncheck this if you want to, and then you can just use this machine without having to log in every time. And I know it's a weak password. Where am I? Right here. And install. Now Ubuntu installs pretty much faster than Microsoft Windows. And I know some people actually run Ubuntu as their native operating system. Like I had a student in one of my networking classes that had a laptop and he just ran Ubuntu Workstation on his laptop and it did everything he needed it to. Smart kid. This dude was only like 15 or 16 years old, but he was one of my top networking students. All right, I'm going to pause again while we wait for this thing to copy files. Okay, well that took a few minutes, but now once it's gotten done installing and updating and going through all that rigmarole, now it is time to restart. And Ubuntu loads pretty fast. And it should just boot up from our new virtual disk that we made. And voila, we've got an Ubuntu virtual machine. Okay, Now, if you want to get to the terminal application, which a lot of your labs are going to call for because Ubuntu, it does have some graphical capability, but primarily what we're going to be doing is using the terminal to just type in commands. So you're going to click on this little show apps icon here, click on terminal, and then you're going to have a command prompt. Okay, so that basically is the installation of Ubuntu on an Oracle VirtualBox, and hopefully you guys are going to be able to do this without too much trouble. And you're going to need this again, like especially if you're in cybersecurity, a lot of your work is going to be done on virtual machines. All right, so that's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next one.